program. Here's a clip from the French president's homage. Take a listen.
Just after the war, in our 30 years of economic boom, those who didn't believe in a European project tried to convince President Mitterrand to steer away from any constraints. They knocked on his door with their predictions of wrack and ruin. Jacques Delors was there, working hand in hand with Pierre Mauroy. They fought with others to defend their vision of a European economy. They fought against pessimistic views and kept France in this joint project. This was without doubt one of his best achievements in bringing people together.
Our senior reporter, Catherine Norris-Trent, attended the ceremony, and we can speak to her now at Les Invalides. Hello to you, Catherine. Jacques Delors, remembered as a great European visionary.
Hi there, Will. Very much so. His legacy as a European leader was at the heart of today's very solemn ceremony here at Les Invalides, which of course had a military tone. Les Invalides, as well as being the tomb of Napoleon, is a military headquarters, a military museum. So today we had French President Emmanuel Macron presiding over a military ceremony, reviewing the troops. There was the French national anthem and all the pomp and ceremony. But this European legacy was very much at the heart of it. We had Beethoven's Ode to Joy, the European anthem, played out. And several current and former European leaders and bigwigs were in attendance at the ceremony, praising his legacy, paving the way for the single market, for the euro currency, also the Erasmus student exchange scheme. There were, in fact, 5 current Erasmus students here today, a symbol of the many millions of young people who had the chance to go and study in another European Union country over the years. And we caught up with one man our viewers will probably recognise, Michel Barnier, who was the EU's Brexit negotiator, remember that? Well, he had a long EU career in the institutions and remembered Jacques Delors. Here's what he told our team at Les Invalides today.
He remains, of course, an exemplary president of the European Commission. I had the privilege of serving as European Commissioner twice and was able to see his heritage years later. What he left us: the single market, which isn't just seen as a big supermarket, and an economic system comprised of 22 million companies, but also a structure for social interactions. He created Erasmus, our cohesion policy, 340 billion euros to ensure that the poor regions aren't left behind. So he was a man who had this double vision of Europe as a place for interactions between people and economies.
Yeah, Catherine, a lot of those accomplishments across the EU. What about specifically how the French people remember Jacques Delors?
Here in France, you know, he left a big political domestic legacy as well as having his famous European career, of course. So he was a trade union leader. That's how he worked his way up. He was a negotiator after May 1968, you know, trying to negotiate the way out of that long crisis with those big student protests and riots which brought France to a halt. He was then brought into the machinery of government. He served as a French finance minister under President François Mitterrand. And famously, in the mid-1990s, as he was still European Commissioner, he turned down the chance to run for French president himself. And a lot of people had been hoping that he would run. It was almost an expectation. So when he made that announcement, it was a real shock here in France. And, you know, he's forever been seen as the one that got away in terms of the French presidency. So that also is how he is remembered here in France.
All right, Catherine, thank you very much. Catherine Norris-Trent reporting from Les Invalides.